I'm gonna show you some of the hottest lead generation strategies you need to know if you want to blow your calendar up with qualified meetings, generate more sales, and close more deals. So let's go ahead and dive into some of these lead generation strategies, right? The first one that we have to cover, no matter what company you are working at, is you need a clear, defined, ideal customer profile. This is actually where most people get it wrong. It doesn't matter how many emails you send. If you don't know why they should buy, why they should respond, nobody will respond. So getting crystal clear on who your customer is very important. So what are the main aspects of an ideal customer profile? There's a couple things that I typically look at, especially in today's time, and it's this. Number one, what is their pain? So obviously you're selling a product or service, right? People only buy based on pain, meaning that they have to have some kind of problem that's so big that they're willing to pay money for this problem to disappear, right? It's the same as you go to a doctor, your arm is broken, you're gonna pay whatever it costs to fix your arm, right? So if you're selling a software, consulting services, well, what problem are you solving? So that's the first step. And for who? That's the second step. Who are these people? Are they going to be large companies with big budgets to pay for consulting services? Or do you want to sell to small, medium businesses that have somewhat of a budget and you're willing to work based on commission, right? It just depends on who you're going after. Some companies, they only go for big companies with big budgets. Other companies, they might find smaller ones and then they will do some kind of deal where it's like more revenue share and it's more high risk but higher return. So it depends on who you're going for. And the main thing you have to look at is whoever you want to sell to, do they actually have the money to buy your products and services? What I've personally found is that people that don't have money, they always want a discount. They're very difficult to work with. They always have a ton of questions. It's just hard. But when people who are well-funded, they have millions of dollars in the bank, they'll be able to be like, oh, how much does it cost, Patrick? 20K, boom, sent, done, right? The more money somebody has, the easier it is to charge fairly and just like negotiate the deal and just get the deal done. The less money someone has, the harder it is, right? Even if you're charging like $500 for like consulting, for example, that person's going to be like, is it going to work? Am I going to get a refund? Whatever, right? But when it comes to people with bigger money, they're just going to be like, all right, here you go. Here's like 50K and it's done. So you want to make sure you're always selling to people that have money. And if you're thinking about like what product and service you're selling, I would always go for the things that are expensive and have high value, because when it comes to commissions, you want to make as much as possible and sell the easiest thing possible, right? So find the thing that solves the biggest pain. Number two, the most expensive thing, especially if people are willing to pay for it. And that's going to make your life so much easier, because from my personal experience, right, the top sales reps working at tech startups or even big companies like Google, Facebook, Uber, Oracle, Salesforce, right? The ones at the top, they have a high pressure job, but it's much easier because they're selling to people with a lot of money. When you're at the bottom of the ladder and you're trying to sell like $1,000 packages to mom and dads, that's very difficult and it just feels like you don't want to do it anymore. So sell the thing that's expensive to people that have money and are willing to part their money for that value. And if you're someone that wants to take your sales game to the next level, master the art of lead generation, closing deals, pitching, negotiation, you name it, make sure to check out my masterclass at saleslegacy.com, where it's going to be the A to Z guide on everything you need to know about sales, especially if you're starting out and you want to ramp up and get as good as possible and potentially make a high income doing it. We've had hundreds of students enroll, some of them getting some of the best jobs in tech, remote sales as well, if you're someone that wants to live a digital nomadic lifestyle. So all that is there if you want to take your career to the next level at saleslegacy.com. So next tip when it comes to outbound prospecting is you want to do outbound using sample sizes. So don't think like, oh, you know, I'm going to sell to every crypto company, so that means I should email 5,000 crypto companies like today. Don't do that. You want to create ideal customer profiles, like I mentioned, who you're targeting, what pains do they have, and you want to test it with a sample size of around 20, right? Of course, having more is better, but then you want to see if it works or not first, right? So if you send 20 emails to, 20 different companies, you send the email to a couple of people at those companies, you're sending it to like 60 to 80 people. Out of those 60 to 80 people, maybe 15 to 25% of people respond, and then you're going to see whether or not it's going to work. If it works really well, amazing. Then you just take that 20 people, multiply by 100 and go for 100 companies. If that works really well, keep scaling up, right? And you just constantly keep increasing the amount of companies you reach out to. But if your sample size doesn't work on that 20, you have to really think like, hey, did I miss on my ideal customer profile? Should I be going after this market, or is it going to be a waste of time? So you always want to test small first, make sure you have some kind of data points to validate whether or not you should continue to scale up. And how you know if it's working is if people take meetings with you, they book a time on your calendar, you have a call with them, you talk to them, and then you see whether or not they are interested. You're gonna have warm leads, you're gonna have ones that just don't care at all. If they don't care, you're missing. If they're kind of interested, you keep going in that direction, right? When people are interested, they want to buy, keep doing more of that. The moment you get a sale from a certain ideal customer profile, you have to think, okay, this guy bought for this reason. Let's find as many people all over the planet that fits that ideal customer profile and email them, LinkedIn message, cold calling, do it as much as possible to replicate that success, right? You don't have to reinvent the wheel. You just have to see what works and do it over and over and over and over again. It's kind of boring and repetitive, but that's when you start getting in the consistent money. Now, if you're working at a company and if you already have product market fit, meaning there are already people who are buying that product or service for a specific reason, all you have to do is ask the other sales reps or lead generation guys and be like, hey guys, who exactly is buying? They will tell you who. What is their pain? Write it down. And then all your messaging when it comes to cold emailing or cold calling, LinkedIn messages should be around those pains for that ideal customer profile. Then you just scale it up. If someone already proved product market fit for you, don't invent the wheel. Take what they have and just multiply and keep doing it better, right? If you're working at Facebook, for example, there's already so much people that run Facebook ads. So all you have to do is go in different niches. Whatever the reason another person bought the package, just sell the same thing. So that's why these larger companies can scale and hire thousands of salespeople. But if you're working at a small company or a consulting company where it's really small, sometimes you're still looking for product market fit, right? So start small, build out. But if you're working at a big company, find out what already works. You don't have to do it by yourself and just scale up from there. Now, the next tip I have for you is super underrated, but super powerful. It's going to be having a social media presence. So right now, X is where you need to be, right? Especially for anyone doing digital products, online courses, consulting services, design agencies, even if you're in crypto, X is more and more every day becoming the place where people hang out. Even I am posting more content on X, which used to be named Twitter before, right? So why X? Well, you get to develop your brand. You basically tweet, you can comment on people's stuff, you can directly talk to people, even though you don't have a big following. So a lot of people, they can actually make a lot of money with just a couple thousand followers. It's kind of crazy, but if you're doing like some kind of consulting or agency work or whatever, you only need a few clients per year to actually make a living off of that, right? So X is the best place to make friends, and then those friends will introduce you to clients by word of mouth, or you can DM people, help them solve problems, whatever your service is, right? X is extremely underrated. All you really have to do is talk about how you helped other clients, what pains that you solve, what's going on in the news, like these kinds of topics. And let me know in the comments if you want me to create more content around how to grow on X, how to build a following on X, because I've personally gotten a lot of consulting roles through X myself. And so I kind of know how the game works. It's super underrated because it's kind of hard to build a following because there's not a lot of information online about it, meaning that there's not a lot of competition right now. So you might as well build a following of a niche following in your particular industry, be the king of your industry. And even if your posts are literally getting 20 or 30 likes, that's still a lot. That means like thousands of people are seeing your content of relevant people, and you can reach out to them, DM them, and actually do business that way, especially if you're doing like boutique consulting or coaching and things of that nature. So growing a social media following is huge. Obviously doing YouTube, you're watching this YouTube video right now, is also huge as well, but I don't necessarily recommend it for everyone because doing YouTube is very difficult. I would actually recommend doing content on X where the barrier to entry is much, much lower. But of course, if you want to do YouTube and stuff like that, it's a big advantage as well because you get to build your brand. Now, the final lead generation strategy I have for you is you definitely want to implement artificial intelligence to your outbound process. So what does this mean? Well, AI has been getting better and better, especially over the past few months. It's excellent right now, right? So if you're someone that does any lead generation when it comes to written text, especially, you want to actually get AI to write different versions of your outbound lead generation for you. So in the beginning, you could write it yourself and you give it to AI, whether it's ChatGPT or any other platforms that leverages off of text AI. And then you basically say like, hey, can you write the same thing, but for this particular niche? Can you give me some ideas on the top 3 pains that chiropractor offices have? There's many different prompts and things that you can write. You can generate a lot of ideas. You can just get AI to rewrite your paragraph or rewrite your cold email in a more persuasive way. You can give it different examples and say, hey, write it like Gary Halbert or write it like this famous copywriter. And then you're going to have like an excellent piece of cold email, right? You definitely just want to leverage AI. You don't have to sit down on a blank page and write it yourself. Write ideas, put it in AI and say, hey, write it like this style. And it's just going to spit it out for you. If you don't like it on the first go, just say, hey, rewrite it in this way. And then from there, it's just going to get better. Once you have like emails and LinkedIn messages that work, you want to put it in AI and say, hey, can you write 4 different versions? And then you want to A/B test that on your next outbound campaign. It just saves you hours of time writing. Back in the day when AI wasn't that powerful, when I was starting my sales career, I had to write every email myself. I had to sit down literally on a blank page and be like, okay, like what do I need to change? How do I A/B test this? But now you can literally just tell ChatGPT to do it for you. So it's never been easier easier to do outbound lead generation. A lot of the heavy lifting is kind of done for you when it comes to writing this lead generation content on email and LinkedIn and Twitter messages. So take 100% advantage of AI, right? If you want more AI videos, let me know in the comments. I can make more tutorials for you on how to use ChatGPT and things of that nature, but you definitely need to know how to use AI for lead generation, especially in this time. So with that said, if you want to learn more about how to take your sales game to the next level, don't forget to check out my masterclass, saleslegacy.com, so that you can start your sales career and potentially earn a high income getting some of the best sales job, whether it's at the top tech companies like I did or doing remote sales, which I've also done as well. With that said, my name is Patrick Day. Make sure to give this video a like, subscribe, turn on notifications, and I'm going to see you in the next one.